All right, athletes, welcome back to another Mobility Monday. I know you guys are eager to get back. I hope you've recovered from South by Southwest or from your different trips. I know some of you traveled pretty far and are eager to start getting back into a routine and picking up where you left off. On that note, I want to pick up where we left off with our thoracic spine and how to increase mobility to that area of the body, as well as show you a couple different sport-specific movements that you can start to add into any gym routine you're in, whether it be here at Austin Aquatics and Sports Academy, or if you work out anywhere else outside of the academy. So, a couple of things that get asked to me on a regular basis are, what are some sport-specific movements that I can start to add into that routine? And second, how do I start to increase the function of my thoracic spine? So a lot of folks, as we've touched on, sit down a lot, they stay in the same position, they have bad posture either due to excessive texting or repeated sagittal plane motion. For most of you, that's going to start to inhibit function, going to start to elicit a little bit of low back pain during certain movements, or you'll just feel a general restriction or limitation in that part of your body. So a couple things I want to show you today are how to use your hips and your arms in a prone position to help drive function, increase mobility, and help you start to feel a little bit stronger in the water. So we'll move to the ground. If you've been tuning in each week, we like to break the body and the movements into 3 planes of motion. There's the sagittal plane, the frontal plane, and the transverse plane. Easy way to remember it, sagittal is straight forward or straight backwards. Frontal plane, you're trying to stay in front of someone, so you're moving side to side. Transverse plane, nice transverse motion is a good twist, good rotation. So what we'll be doing first is showing you how to drive your hips in all 3 planes of motion in a horizontal body position, similar to the position you're going to be in when you're in the water. So we'll start in a push-up position. All you need to do is drive hips up and down. We're going to carry this motion all the way through the spine by making sure our head looks up when our hips are dropped. Our head looks in between our shoulders when our hips are up. That helps to drive flexion and extension in the spine. Next, we'll go into frontal plane. So widening out our feet a little bit, we're going to push our hips to the side, making sure we keep them on a level plane, adding a little skull driver. So as you reach, you're driving the head to the opposite side, driving the head to the opposite side. That way, we're getting that good lateral flexion or that side-to-side movement in our spine. Our last exercise, bring the feet together and start to rotate and drop the hips to either side. A way you can add a little more motion is by looking over the opposite shoulder, and that way you're really wringing out that spine and driving rotation from the bottom all the way to the top. Now I want to go over how we can add an arm driver into that hip driver, and therefore create a little bit more specificity for some of the movements that your joints are going to encounter whenever you hop into the pool. So we're going in the sagittal plane first, the frontal plane second, and the transverse plane for third. Start in the same position you were in for the hip drives. Pick an arm you want to move first. As you drive the hips up, the arm travels down to the ankle, and as you move the hips back down to the floor, you're going to reach that hand out in front. Reach down as the hips go up, reach out as the hips come back down. To make this a little harder, reach towards the toe and leave the hand off the ground. Reach to the toe, leave the hand off the ground. By having those 3 points of contact, your core is having to force a little bit more stability through the body. You're going to get a greater reaction and a greater adaptation the more repetitions you accumulate over time. Plane number 2 is the frontal plane. Start in push-up position, widen out your feet. As you drive the hips to one side, reach in the direction with that hand. As you drive the hips out, reach the hand over, try to cover that ear with the bicep. Once again, keeping the hand off the ground is going to be a little bit more challenging. To make it easier, simply reach the hand across and plant the hand on the ground. Reach the hand across, plant the hand on the ground. Always trying to get that nice lateral flexion in the spine. Our third motion, keeping the hand in a closed chain, reach the hand under the spine or under the chest, then out to the side. Under, and then out to the side. To make it a little bit harder, leave the hand off the ground and get a little bit more rotation. Again, trying to get that rotation through the spine. So we've covered how to add the hips, how to add the arms to create a sport-specific movement for swimmers and for the general population if you're looking to add a little bit more core work, as well as cover a little bit more mobility in your gym routine. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Coach Bo, or any of the coaches at the Academy, and we'll see you next week.